Or pause. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one crazy ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube. Tonight we have with us Haidyn Hansen. Welcome back. Welcome to the show, Haidyn.
Thanks.
Let's talk about your racing career. Where did this start for you?
It started at a small town racetrack in my hometown at Lincoln County Raceway. My dad, he kind of got me into it, and my cousins, because he raced dirt bikes when he was growing up, and he said that dirt bikes were too dangerous for me, so he got me on four wheels instead. But I took off with a national series, and it just went up from there.
Okay. Were you the least bit scared when you got behind the wheel for the first time?
Well, not that anything that I remember of. Um, I always liked speed growing up. I always wanted to do things, go fast, just a lot of things that a kid would want to do.
Okay. How much success have you had as a race car driver?
Well, I have quite a few like national event wins with like the Maxis National Series. I'm a two-time King of the Arena champion, a three-time Max Daddy champion, a three-time Nebraska Kart Shootout champion. I won an Ironman race. It was, I think, about 60 laps, I believe. I've won a couple times at the O'Reilly Indoor National Race in Batesville, Mississippi. I've won a Triple Crown event. I've also won the Shootout and just a lot of other national events.
Okay. How do you celebrate all your victories?
Well, we usually just celebrate at the track as a family. I mean, we all have a great time. But we usually, just right after the races, we all go out to eat with everybody that helped us out. I thank my sponsors after. I thank everybody that helped me get to the moment. And that's just really it.
What is the story behind your racing number?
So my dad, when he raced dirt bikes, he was 519. And so when I started racing, he gave me 319, which at the time, I was upset. I was like, well, I wanted my dad's number. But now that I have created my own name, and the number means a lot to me now because I have built it on like my own. It didn't come from generations before me.
Who do you have for sponsors on your race car?
I have OGO, Checkland Outfitters, Concordia Technology, Hyper Racing, Shore Built Suspension, Vision One Composites, and Hot Shot Designs. I think that's all of them.
Are you presently looking for more sponsors?
Yes, we are for the next few seasons. We're gonna try and step up into a midget, get into the sprint car stuff. So it would definitely be nice to have a few more sponsors just to help with the expenses of that.
How does one get a hold of you to sponsor you?
On my Facebook, I have my number, my email. I have everything listed on there, so they could email me, text me, anything.
What is your Facebook page?
It's just Haidyn Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to sponsor our guest or get to know our guest a little bit later, reach out to Haidyn Hansen on Facebook. What's an awesome day at the racetrack look like for you?
An awesome day at the racetrack. They're usually 2-day events. And Friday for us, if we're gonna have a good Saturday, like a good Saturday night race, the day before usually doesn't go very well. Like the Friday night, we have a little bit of issues. Some things don't go our way. But then when Saturday night rolls around, we get quick time in qualifying. We get a good heat. Um, we get good passing points, stuff like that, just to set us up good for the future. And that really makes it a good night.
What is your home racetrack you race on?
Lincoln County Raceway in North Platte, Nebraska.
What is your favorite racetrack you've ever raced on?
My favorite racetrack, I really like Jefferson County Speedway in Fairbury, Nebraska, or I like Port City in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or I like the shootout track that they have. That's definitely, or I-44 Speedway. That's definitely one of
Are
my
you going?
favorites.
Are you going to the Tulsa shootout this coming year?
Oh yes, we definitely will be going to that again.
What are you looking forward to most about this coming Tulsa shootout?
I'm looking forward to the interactions I will receive. Last year it was very rushed after like the shootout. They had to go through tech, tear the car down. So I didn't get to enjoy it that much, but I'll definitely be reminiscing, that feeling that I had being down in front of the crowd, thousands of people watching, all the congrats and everything. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Who's all on your racing crew?
My dad, Matt Carr, Frank Flood helps out a little bit, and I have a little bit of guys that come and help. Like that helped with my go kart stuff a while ago. They're not big into the micro stuff, but they can just help. Take wings off, put fuel in the tank.
When you're strapped into your race car getting ready to go on the racetrack, what else gets you psyched up and motivated to go out and do this?
I really don't even know. I really don't know.
What's an awesome day at the race shop look like for you?
An awesome day at the race shop. It's right when we're loading up, getting ready to go to the racetrack. You have a good feeling. That's just making sure everything goes smoothly, loading the trailer, getting out of the driveway. That's a pretty awesome day.
When it comes to your racetracks, are you pretty good about reading the racetrack?
That is something that I that I struggle with a lot, and me and my dad have been talking about it, how to get me better. I've definitely been getting better since I have started because, like with the go karts, it's a single line. You don't have to read the racetrack as much. So that's what I grew up with. So when I got into the micro stuff, and you have to kind of decipher what lines are where, what color dirt has moisture in it, stuff like that. So sometimes it's a little difficult, but otherwise, I do an okay job.
Do you like a wet, heavy track, a dry, dusty track, or right in the center?
Mm, it depends because wet heavy, everybody's kind of the same speed. Everybody can drive a wet heavy track. A dry slick track, um, that really kind of takes some skill with it, but sometimes it's not as fun because it's one line either around the bottom or around the top. There's not a lot of passing. So I'd probably say right in the middle.
You have a racing nickname.
Um, my dad's always called me Bugs, but he had that on my car for quite some time. But I don't really know if anybody else has a nickname for me.
I've got one for you.
What is that?
Hurricane Haidyn.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Um, when you're strapped in your race car getting ready to go on the racetrack, what else gets you psyched up and motivated to go out and do this?
Well, I just kind of think about how the night could go if I think about the rewards that come from it, the feeling that you get when you're in victory lane, just all that stuff.
Out of all the victories you've had, what has to be your most favorite victory?
My most favorite has definitely either the Tulsa shootout or my first Midwest Max Daddy with the Maxis series when I was racing go-karts. It took me, I think, about 4 or 5 years. I got second place 4 or 5 years in a row because I had either been leading and something go wrong, like the last lap and stuff like that. So my first Max Study win was definitely probably one of my most memorable besides the Tulsa shootout.
What made it so memorable?
Because it took us so long to achieve it, and I had wanted it for so long. I had wanted it ever since I had started racing. Like back in 2017, 2016, when I started racing, it was something that I looked up to. It was like, I was like, it'd be nice to be at that level. And then when I got to that level, it was so difficult to actually achieve it. So that definitely made it memorable.
What's the best piece of advice you've gotten as a race car driver?
The best piece of advice I had gotten is from Jeremy Morris, and he told me 1,000 laps in the dark just for the one under the bright lights, which really meant a lot to me because not a lot of people see like what goes on behind the scenes. They don't see the hours you put in behind the shot. They don't see the hours that you put in at the racetrack. Um, Even at small races that a lot of people don't come to, that you don't get posted about. That's definitely one of the most memorable pieces of advice, or I mean, advice that I've received.
What kind of advice would you give a new race car driver?
I would say to everybody gets fast eventually. Um, so I would definitely say just to keep in it, get seat time. Seat time is really important. And, don't get discouraged if you get beat by other people. A lot of them have been racing for, especially in the micro world, a lot of them have been racing micros for about like 15, 30 years.
Who are some of your racing friends at the racetrack?
Some of my racing friends, Layla and Amelia Eisenshank, they're definitely some of my bestest friends I met along the way. Um, I don't know if I really have any other that I would consider my bestest friends.
What are your future goals as a race car driver?
I would like to get into a midget and go beyond that. Keith Coons is a really big name. I would like to get in or have the opportunity to run some of his stuff with the midgets or even the micros. I just want to go as far as I can and keep that as my career.
Do you have any crazy racing stories you'd like to share with us?
Hmm. I don't know if I have any crazy. Let me think. Hmm. A few years ago, I was racing at, let's see, Lasosky Speedway, and I was passing a lapper car. I was in the lead, and he turned into me, and I shot up the track and went through the fence, and then I came back out there, and I actually won it. So I had to come from last, and there were maybe 15 laps left. But yeah, that was definitely a crazy race.
Did you get hurt at all when you went through the?
Um, no, I did not get hurt when I went through the fence, but the next day I got into a wreck with a kid and the steering wheel like went into my stomach and bruised it immediately. So I had to go to the hospital and it was a pretty eventful day, but yeah.
Who's your racing hero?
Hmm, I would probably say I didn't think about that. I don't really know who my racing hero is. Hmm. Probably some of the bigger names, like Kyle Larson, Donnie Schatz. They're probably, I like watching them and following along with their stuff.
Hey, what types of racing do you like to watch on TV?
I usually watch micros, midgets, sprint cars, and sometimes my friends are racing the late models and stuff. I'll watch that. But probably my favorite is definitely the micros and the midgets.
Have you ever met like Kyle Larson or Donnie
I
Schatz?
Yes, I have. So Layla and Amelia's uncle is Donnie Schatz. So I've met him quite a few times. Kyle Larson, I've seen him at the Tulsa Shootout, seen him around Port City. I've seen Kyle Busch. I've raced against him. Yeah, I've raced against quite a few of them.
What was it like to meet Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch?
Um, Well, I didn't have a very good interaction with Kyle Busch because we kind of got into it on the racetrack. But seeing Kyle Larson is pretty cool. You know, you get to meet some of these people, have interactions with them that most people like won't get on a daily basis.
What do you like to do for fun away from the racetrack?
I play basketball for my high school. I like to do that. I play soccer, and we have horses around here, so I'll occasionally like ride horses and stuff. But that's just kind of stuff I do when I'm not at the racetrack.
Is there anybody else you'd like to thank for helping you get this far with your racing career?
I would definitely like to thank my dad and everybody that's came along the way. I mean, he's the one that got me started into this. He's the one that's carried me along. He spent countless hours driving me places. I would just like to thank him the most.
At this portion of the racing show, Haidyn, I'd like to turn the mic over to my guest. If you have a couple questions you'd like to ask me, you can ask me a couple questions.
What inspired you to start your channel?
Been a racing fan for quite a few years and always dreamt of working in the racing industry, and here's my shot.
Yeah, I'm glad you have this started up.
What would you say to some of the other kids to help get them to come to my racing show?
I would say it's a cool opportunity to show who you are as a racer and who you are as a person. It kind of gets your name out there, helps spread the word about yourself.
You were talking about Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch.
Mm-hmm.
Go back. Last Sunday, I had a pretty big NASCAR driver at my racing show.
Who'd you have on your show?
Ernie Irvan.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. My cousin, she works for Trackhouse Racing, and she is a sales rep for Ross Chastain. And so they kind of go around. My family's on my mom's side is pretty big into NASCAR because my cousin Peyton Reynolds works for Trackhouse.
Yeah, we talked about his Daytona 500 win and all his NASCAR wins, and then we
Mm-hmm.
talked about his accident at Michigan in '94, and then him coming back from that accident and getting some kind of redemption and winning at Michigan, which was kind of cool to hear that story.
Yeah.
And then we talked about his toward the end of his racing career when he raced for MB2 Motorsports and Skittles and
Mm-hmm.
M&M. That was quite interesting to hear all about that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, when he talked about Daytona, he says, he says a lot of people say it changes your life. He says I just was humble about it and said, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And he said too, he says one of his favorite rides was when he drove the 28 Texaco Haviland Ford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he drove for Robert Yates Racing.
Huh.
And really quite interesting, Haidyn, is he took over that ride after Davey Allison died in his helicopter crash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when go-karts are still around, or they still do it, but they race at Daytona on the big dirt track, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. They race there I think it's in December, maybe January.
And then also they have the NASCAR U Series,
Mm-hmm.
Quarter Midget Series races down there also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
Not that I know of.
All right. Haidyn, I would like to thank you for being on our racing show tonight, talking to us about your racing career. Good luck to you at the upcoming Tulsa shootout, and hopefully you can pick up another win there. That would be very cool.
That would be amazing.
But I will have you step out, Haidyn, and I will call you in a little bit to thank you, okay?
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yep. That was Haidyn Hansen on our racing show tonight, talking to us about her racing career. Go follow Haidyn Hansen on Facebook and get to know her better and maybe sponsor her. And if you'd like to sponsor our racing show or be on our racing show, feel free to call us or text us at 712-209-7138, or you can email us at jjnolan151@gmail.com. Have a good night, everybody.